Grammy Award-nominated American singer-songwriter, pianist and composer. She is a classically trained musician and possesses a mezzo-soprano vocal range. She is often quoted as having an extraordinary fan base, and it's not unusual to hear her listeners explain how a song changed their life or even saved their life. And since the release of her debut album back in 1992, she has smashed apart boundaries with her piano rock and raw confessional poetry. And my guest this afternoon continues to be adored, picking up new fans along the way, romanced by her messages of empowerment, tenderness, acerbic assertiveness, and that utterly unique sound. Let's welcome onto the Drive Time show this afternoon, Tori Amos. Good afternoon, Tori.
Hey, Danny, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for coming on to our little show here.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Okay, now, you've got a new album that comes out. In fact, I think it's out next week. It's out on the 12th of May, Unrepentant Geraldines.
Yes.
What's that about?
Yeah, right. I guess in a way you, at a certain point in your life, you've got to stand by what you believe in and not be apologetic for it and be strong. And I turned 50. I'm 50. I'm grabbing it with both hands. And I thought, right, let's go rock.
Well, why not? They say 50's the new 40 after all, don't they?
Why not? Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is your first album in, I think, was it 2012, your last album out, wasn't it?
Yes, we did a Gold Dust, which was with the orchestra, the Metropole Orchestra. And we did two projects with Deutsche Grammophon. One was Night of Hunters, variation on classical themes. And that was, in a way, a wonderful experience, but different from the pop world because I was immersing myself in classical structures for the Night of Hunters album.
Sure, but that's kind of your background, isn't it? As I mentioned in the intro there, you are classically trained, aren't you?
Yes, I am, but then I really detoured from there for quite a while. I went off that path for many years. So it was great to expose myself to some of those great structures and master composers again.
Okay, but then is it nice then to come back to the world of pop?
It's been so great. Songs started happening while I was just busy traveling around and doing these other projects, along with touring with the orchestra. And working with the National Theatre on The Light Princess, which I must say, it's been exhilarating working with those people. And they kept drumming story into me. So I think some of these songs are very much about telling a story.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly seems to be the case with the single that, in fact, has been our featured track all this week, which is Trouble's Lament. Yeah, it does feel. In fact, I read it in the press release this afternoon that it's been compared a bit to some of Johnny Cash's work, where he kind of was quite the storyteller in some of his songs. And interestingly, I was thinking that when I was listening to the track this morning, without having read that piece in your press release.
Well, I guess growing up, being born in North Carolina, spending 4 months a year there, that kind of the sounds and the music and the smells and the tastes and that culture is something that wherever I travel in the world, it's just there in the bones, in the DNA. And this song kind of just took possession of me.
Right. Now, with your songs, your songwriting, it's very, very personal. You really sort of put it all out there, it seems. But do you ever hold anything back? Do you ever have things where you think, no, I'm not going to put that in a song, that's too personal?
No. I think songs are a good place. People say that you hide your secrets in plain sight. And I think the songs have been that, where the secrets are there. It's all there in the songs, I would say.
That must be quite a brave thing to do as well, because you really are, you're potentially allowing yourself to be very vulnerable by being so open and honest about yourself in your music.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if while you're writing the songs, the feeling isn't necessarily that you're being brave. I think it's about when the songs are coming, you're trying to figure out how you feel about a certain situation. And sometimes I don't know how I feel about something until the song has finished. And that might take months and months to write and many journeys to take in different countries, because a song doesn't always just come wrapped up in a bow and it's finished. Sometimes it takes many, many, many months for a song to reveal itself.
Have you ever had that instance where you've, I don't know, you just suddenly had a thought and then, I don't know, an hour later it's a song, or do all of your songs take that kind of long creative process?
A few of them. There have been a few over the many years that kind of decode themselves very quickly, but that happens once in a blue moon, if I'm honest with you.
No, of course. Now, we mentioned there about your many years. I was staggered when I was reading that your debut album was in 1992, and that's 22 years ago. Because if people asked me when the 90s were, I'd have said, that's about 5 or 6 years ago. It doesn't seem it was that long ago. Does it feel like this is your 14th album and that you've been doing this for on your own for 22 years?
Well, when you say 22 years, somebody brought that up as well today, and my goodness, I don't think of it in those terms. It does. I mean, that's my goodness. I thought, 22 years. But no, so it's flying by. That's the thing. That's why it's important to be present for all of it, for life, to live it to its fullest extent and create while you can, because this is our time now. This is our time. If we're here on the planet, is to be alive for it, not to sleep through it.
Sure. Now, you have a very special place in my history, because when I started DJing, I started off DJing in clubs and bars and things, and the song that I learnt how to mix records to was your song "Professional Widow." It was the danced up version of that, and I remember at the time being aware of some of your other work. I was slightly surprised when somebody said, "Oh, have you heard that great Tori Amos dance track?" And I'm thinking, no, Tori Amos is the girl who does the ballads and plays the piano. And then Professional Widow came along, and I was just blown away. And and so that was the song. It was that song and a song by Lisa Stansford. I was taught how to mix them together. And,
wow!
That's how I started out.
How fun is that?
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever attempted doing that sort of thing yourself. It's actually not that hard, but it took me a long time to pick it up.
No, but I love the idea of being mixed with Lisa Stansfield. It sounds like a drink.
Yeah, very much so. So it seems time to have that song now. This is Tori Amos with Professional Widow. Professional Widow, isn't it, Tori? We'll be back with Tori Amos in just a moment.
Your place, your voice, your music. 92.6 FM Radio Verulam.
Let's return now to our interview with Tori Amos.
We were saying just a moment ago about how your music is very personal and what you really put yourself into your songs and you put it all out there. So being like quite a high profile person, being somebody very much in the media spotlight for your music, what's the most outrageous thing that you've ever read about yourself? Because we often hear that celebrities talk about some of the outrageous things that are in the papers and in the media about them. Is there anything that stands out about you that you really sort of took a double take when you saw?
Oh, I mean, when people have brought things up to me, all kinds of things are ridiculous because I lead a very private life with my husband who shuns all that stuff. He doesn't. That's why he kind of kidnaps me to Cornwall in the middle of nowhere where there are no street lights, to the point where my daughter said to me, "Mom, are you kidding? I'm out of here. It's fine that you all want to be here." And he has the studio, Mark has the studio in Cornwall where we record, but he wanted us to have, I know this might sound crazy, but if we're out on the road touring for a big portion of our life, he wanted us to have a life where we brought up our child in a place like Cornwall. Cornwall's a great place to bring up a child.
I never realised this about you until I did my research earlier on, because I grew up in Devon, so just across the water there from Cornwall.
Well, the thing is, how gorgeous is Devon? Devon and Cornwall, magical place. And it's hard to describe it to people who haven't been there, especially when I'm talking to Americans and they're saying, "Okay, you're really going back to that rainy place?" And I go, yeah. But love makes you do all kinds of things, and it is beautiful and it is magical. But I had thought that we would be in Florida, not far from my folks.
Right.
But my husband, once I got pregnant, the idea of bringing up a child, putting her into school with the guns the way they are in the States, he didn't want to do that. And I've never been afraid of that personally, because I went to, I grew up in the States.
Yeah.
But I had to respect this decision, and he was very serious about it.
I suppose the most dangerous thing you've got to face in Cornwall perhaps are pitchforks, which maybe not so bad then. But it's lovely as a Brit to think that you love the UK so much you even married one of us. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, they keep me laughing. They help me get a sense of humor, which honestly I didn't have much of one when my career started, and it's thank goodness they really do make me laugh.
Right. Brilliant. Well, I hope that's in a good way.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah, laugh with us, not laugh at us, or something like that. Now, what's next for you? I mean, because looking at my research here for you, you've done everything in music, really, it seems. Is there anything left that you haven't yet kind of conquered, that you haven't yet done? Have you got any more ambitions that have as yet been unrealised?
Well, we're about ready. I'm producing the Light Princess original cast recording for Universal. So it's a proper record. It's not just a cast recording that you sell in the foyer, if you get my meaning.
Sure.
And a lot of us remember, the great recordings of the 70s, of Jesus Christ Superstar. and the impact that they had on us, on me growing up. So I wanted the musical to really be a sonic experience, extravaganza. So we are recording with the orchestra in just a few days, and we'll be making that record while we're touring Unrepentant Geraldines. So it's going to be a busy year for the crew.
Oh, fantastic. Do you know what? I had a thought as well earlier on that I could hear you doing a James Bond theme. Would that be something that you'd be interested in if you were approached?
Always, because we all love the James Bond themes, don't we? I think music for film is fascinating, how it works, because you and I are back to telling a story through music, and how music can tell a story. Whereby you don't need words, you don't need any of that. That if the music is really doing its job, then it tells us exactly what's happening, and that would be thrilling for me to do one day.
All right, brilliant stuff. Now, I should just remind listeners that your album, Unrepentant Geraldines, comes out on the 12th of May. You're performing at the Royal Albert Hall on the 15th of May. Have you performed there before?
It's one of my favorite places to perform in the world. It's humbling to be there, knowing all the great music that's been played there, the great musicians who have been there. And it's, there are certain places you never know again. Sometimes you play a little place in the South, and that's the best show you've had in all of America. Sometimes you think when you're in the famous houses that it's your best show. But it's like I told you, Danny, it depends on kismet, a bit of luck, and a little gold dust.
Okay. Tori, we're just about out of time, but thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. Now, right at the end, what we sometimes do here when we have special guests on our show, we like to ask them 10 quick-fire questions. Would you be up for this?
I'll be up for it.
Okay. We're going to give you two options, and we just say to you, apples or oranges, and you've just got to say the first thing that comes into mind as your answer.
You mean apples or oranges?
Yeah. So I would say apples or oranges, and you would say apples or oranges or...
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Okay, so first up, South Carolina or Cornwall?
Cornwall, because it's North Carolina.
Brilliant. Oh, sorry, that was close.
That's good. That's okay.
Okay, we'll carry on from that. Rap or reggae?
Reggae.
Batman or Spider-Man?
Catwoman.
Okay. You're Tori Amos. You can change these if you want. Singing or dancing?
Dancing, because I can't.
Okay. Dylan or Lennon?
Oh, Lennon.
EastEnders or Coronation Street?
Well, do I go with my mother-in-law or my daughter? My mother-in-law, no, they'll never talk to me again unless I say Corey, but I would watch EastEnders if I were pressed.
Okay. Brad Pitt or Tom Jones?
Oh, Tom Jones. I've worked with him. He's fabulous.
Big Brother or I'm a Celebrity?
Oh my God. The NSA. I'll pick them.
And finally, a big night out or a cosy night in?
Oh, cozy night in.
Thank you very much.
If husband's cooking, cozy night in.
Oh, okay. All right. Tori Amos, thank you so much for joining us on the show this afternoon. We're going to end with your new single, your current single, I should say, Trouble's Lament. Would you introduce it for us?
This is a song called Trouble's Lament about a girl running from Satan and hopefully finding danger.
And in fact, we're going to do that song a little bit later in the show because we are bang out of time. Thank you so much to Tori Amos. We will be playing your show in the third hour.